FIMM config. Acha. So, what are we going to cover in FI? First of all, in the config, we'll cover organizational units. Okay. Then we'll cover chart of accounts. Then we'll understand what is the hierarchy in SAP of the organizational units. Then in chart of accounts, after chart of accounts, we'll go for creating GL master data. And after GL master data, we will go for journal entries. In config, along with organizational units, we will have currency and valuation profile and material ledger settings. Okay. In journal entries, of course, first we'll see simple journal entries, and after that, we'll start covering recurring entries. After recurring entries, we'll see reports on GL at GL level. Okay. After that, we'll start with AP, AR, that is business partners. For business partners, that is the config. For the config, we have two areas to configure: the FI, MM, and cross application components. Three areas. It's two basically, but three. Okay. And then we'll pass on entries, which are vendor entries, entries for vendor, advances, taxes, withholding tax, calculation and config of withholding taxes. Okay. And after that, clearing of vendors, then reports. Then comes the assets part. For assets, I mean, it's again a long list of configuration. But first, let's start with FIMM config. Okay. Let me just sign in to SAP. Okay. Now, let's have a first overview of our SAP menus, the front end, how we are going to cover, and where are we going to start with accounting, financial accounting, GL, document entry. The document that will enter will have these transactions. FB01L or FB50, FB50L. Why do we need these? Because the workflow is a bit different, but the output is always the same. Okay. For example, AA4201, currency rate AED. 400, 500? No. I will choose a GL account. Let me just show you how SAP front end works. Okay. Now chart of accounts is AA42. Now this is a chart of accounts that we've already made, but we can also search GL accounts. You can also search GL accounts with reference to company code. Okay. In company code, we have 8842. This is one of our company codes, and we want to search for a GL account. Start search. Okay. Over here, I'll go for EXP, debit card expenses, or let's say petty expense, or we can use debit card expense 30249. Enter AD PKR rate. Okay, it wants PKR. We'll have to enter PKR rates first, and or we can directly enter the document in currency AD. Okay, okay. We'll choose another account so it is simple for us to understand the flow, not necessary to go for exact accounts. So we have to understand the basic front-end flow first, and that will give us a perspective how the configuration will respond to these entries. Okay. Company code 8842. Now this is a template company code that we are using right now. Okay. Let's say I'll take petty expense 30201. Okay, enter. Enter. Okay, still asking for PKR. Let me just see if we can. Okay, it has allowed us. Okay, 1200. And we need a cost center to pass the entries for. We can also calculate the taxes, but right now we are not going into the tax part yet. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have one cost center, central cost center. So we'll also see how to make cost centers. Okay. What are these posting keys? 50. And I want to use a credit account. And for that credit account, I want another account. And that will be, for example, I'll just take an example. What I'm trying to explain here is the workflow of finance before we start our configuration. Okay. And petty cash 10101. Okay. Okay. Star, enter, and display document overview. And let's see if we can post it, because we are using 2024 and it will be posted in 2024. Being in 2025, we can still post in 2024 if our year is not closed. Okay. I'll display the document that I have passed, and this basically gives us a basic understanding how SAP FI workflow works and what areas will we be configuring. That we'll discuss the next. Okay. Sohail and Atik, what is your understanding so far? Resume or recording?
अच्छा वैसे सर आपके कोर्स में इंक्लूड है
Okay, so coming back to our document, So what do we need to configure first if you want to see as organizational units, company codes, accounts, um, cost centers, profit centers, segments. We don't have a segment for this company code, but we all need this. We will also need plants as well. But if you want to see more details for this document, we can go to document header and we can display that. Okay. And this is basically the table that is getting all the details and who it was created by, okay, at what time it was created, the timestamp is there, okay, and the document type is also given over here, right? Now, now this is the basic structure of a document. This is what we are going to construct. We are going to construct with the backend with a company code. That is more important. But before we actually go into configuring the company codes, let me show you the information systems. General ledger report, general ledger reports, master data, account balances, GL account balances, sometimes the internet slows down. Now we have the company code AA42 and we want to see the report for 2024. We'll just execute. It's plain and simple. Even without giving any details for chart of accounts and GL accounts, we can just print out the report. And this is how it will show you the reports. Okay. And zero balance clearing. What is this account? This will see when we actually go into creating more of our organizational units. Okay. Now, this was one of the reports. Then we have another report, FBL3N. This is again a very useful report that we'll see 1142, and we'll see what items, either open, cleared, or all items included, will be shown for all the accounts. Okay. Okay. So we have accounts 80330 petty cash. We have many other accounts. Okay. And we have many other documents as well, petty cash. So double click one of these accounts, one of these transactions, and it will show us when it was entered, okay, and what was the document number. And we can also see the overview. Okay, petty expense, petty cash entered and posted on 3rd of January. Okay, 2 years back. And this is how you can get into the molecular details of the document. Okay, so we'll go and see. Look, the GL accounts are made. So where are the GL accounts made? That is the next question. Okay, if I go and double click 30201, this is the GL account for petty expense. It will take me to the master data of that very company code. And over here, I can drill down. This is my chart of accounts. Okay. Asset, sale, loss, petty expense. This is what we have actually created. And once we actually create GL accounts, these are ready for your journal entries. Okay, so we'll be configuring chart of accounts, we'll be configuring company codes, and we'll be configuring the master data before we can enter the journal entries or post the journal entries in the system. So SAP in itself is quite straightforward, very molecular, and it has a set standardized workflow. Okay. So let's go to the next step. So what we are going to create, we are going to create a company code, and we are going to create a chart of accounts, and we are going to create GL accounts. Plus, we are also going to introduce fiscal year and posting period variance, because this is also part of the ERP systems. Okay. So now that we have understood the basic workflow, now we'll configure our first unit, which is the company code. Okay. Okay. So the first unit to configure, we start from enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, define, edit company, edit, copy, delete, check company code. This is where we define our company code. And okay, new entries. Now here we have multiple company codes for various companies, and these can be coded and alphanumeric as well. So new entries, and new entries will be OOGL, OOGL. Okay. Orient Overseas Global Limited. Okay, global, Dubai, and country AE, currency will be AED, and at the company code level, it will be, the currency will be AED. So I will save it. AE, OGL, OGL. OOGL FIMM config T82. Since Prithvi is our student, so it will be easier for us to locate our configuration node. Okay. T82 is our batch, 82nd batch. Okay. Going back. Now, company code is already made. We can also define segments, and we'll define profit centers later on. But right now, we'll define segments. Now, segments basically are for segment reporting. Now, segments can be your products or geographies also. It depends what your business priorities are. Okay. So let's say OOGL SUV, OOGL passenger vehicles. Okay. Save. And these are segments that we'll have as business verticals. Now we have two branches or two segments of our business verticals. Okay. We are dealing with SUVs and we are dealing with passenger vehicles. Next part is we create a plant. Define valuation level. Now, what is valuation level? Is nothing but a plant. Okay. So valuation of your material will happen at plant level. Define plant. New entries will keep the same code WOGL. Okay, save. Okay, save. All right. Next part, now that we have created our plant. Next part is we go to financial accounting. General ledger accounting. Master data. GL accounts. Preparations. Edit chart of accounts list. Now we're going to create chart of accounts. Okay. New entries and WOGL. WOGL COA. Maintenance language will be English. 10 will be the length of GL account number. As we saw, 30201 was petty expense and the length was 5. So maximum is 10. We cannot exceed more than 10. So we're keeping it 10, the maximum. But we can shorten it. It's better to use 5 or 6 digits for the length of your GL account. Assign company code to chart of accounts. Okay, position. WOGL. WOGL. Save. Okay, we have assigned chart of accounts. We defined a chart of account and then we assigned it to our company code. So we are basically settling down with our configuration. Okay, company code, chart of accounts now are integrated. Okay, now let me pull AA842 chart of accounts and I can AA42. Okay, new entries, Control V, WOGL. Okay, enter. Now I can save it. Now, what are chart of accounts? Let me tell you that as well. Okay, now chart of accounts, I have these segments, these parts where I can create GL accounts under these heads, under these titles. So for equity, I have a separate numbering range. For HR accounts, I have the number range from starting from 9. For income, I have the range starting from 30,000. Okay. For taxes, I have a number range for 8, starting with 8. Okay. So in that way, I'll have a very synchronized collection of GL accounts in one place. Okay. Okay. Define a retained earnings account. AA42, 20,000. Okay. I go back and I create a retained earnings account. WOGL. X and 20,000. It says that it is not yet made and it is a warning in orange. I just press enter, it will go away and I will save it. So far what we have done, we'll just go and check at SE10. Okay, display. and display WGL. Okay, WGL. Now, these are the areas that we have configured: chart of accounts, retained earnings, company code, and these places have been configured along with plant, company code, chart of accounts, account groups, segments, and retained earnings. Okay, so I'll close it here. It was a little bit